and what was once used for evil, to invade planets. The genes of a warrior race that in its majestic peak of full conquest dared to invade any planet in the seven universe without any fear. A race that when looking at the moon, their hearts beat faster, bringing forth the transformation we call OOZARU, a giant ape form that destroys anything without mercy. A natural mix of fury and hatred that now converts into more power for Goku. If in the past the Saiyans fought good with evil, today they fight evil with good. And he, more than anyone, was the first in the lineage presented to us in the series, Kakarot, better known as Goku, who has now accepted his past and gained that additional Saiyan pride in his newest Ultra Instinct form, which began back in the Tournament of Power. Now he is familiar with his more human side, calling it Natural Instinct. He is now walking towards the final evolution of his stage of acceptance. And there's nothing better than recalling that in the past, the anime left us this key connection, as when he transforms for the first times, he lets out the OOZARU scream. The rage itself for not having the power to face an opponent like Jiren opened the path for the future that is to come. Could the Ultra Instinct OOZARU be the foundation for Super Saiyan 4 or a variant of it? That question remains in the air. Speaking of which, I ask for your help with a like, your subscription, activate the notification bell so you don't miss any video, and leave your comment on what you think of this form, OOZARU Instinct, something that has been addressed since the earliest days of the Dragon Ball series. Let's float together on this topic. Let's go. Goku, now alongside Vegeta, has both retained the powers of a god after opening this door that was flung wide open to surpass the existence of a god, which started long ago with Shenlong's information. Through a ritual, Goku accessed the first form of a Super Saiyan god, a ritual that had already been performed by other Saiyans with pure hearts. Goku accessed the Super Saiyan God form for the first time during the Dragon Ball Super Saga, specifically in the Battle of Gods arc. To achieve this transformation, a special ritual involving 6 pure-hearted Saiyans was required. 5 of them transferred their energy to the 6th, which was Goku. Goku transformed into Super Saiyan God, gaining immense power and a different appearance, with red hair and a divine aura. This transformation was crucial for Goku to be able to face the god of destruction, Beerus, in an epic battle. This has been building up over time, the phases of a Saiyan who, at his peak, was only OOZARU, used as a last resort during planet invasions throughout the 7th universe. And if I told you that, removing all this divine power that has already been introduced, we could have OOZARU-derived forms in the canonical Dragon Ball series, or rather a form derived from it, and we set the starting point in both the anime and the manga. The key point to this is Goku's Ultra Instinct, which was shown in a different way in the anime than in the manga. He managed to access this divine power of the angels. Ultra Instinct is an advanced technique introduced in Dragon Ball Super. It's not exactly a transformation, but rather an extremely rare and difficult state of mind to achieve. Goku awakened Ultra Instinct during his fight against Jiren in the Tournament of Power. He was able to access the state after being pushed to his limits and nearly being defeated. Over time, he has been able to better master this technique, though it remains a challenge to maintain for long periods due to the enormous physical strain. But even in the anime, this was used as a last resort almost automatically. If we consider this, it's the first similarity with the OOZARU form, which was used only as a last resort. He lets out a scream that references the OOZARU, as if there were 2 beings in the same body. For example, in the fusion of Goku and Vegeta, there are 2 united voices, and it seems the OOZARU found a way to reappear, even if subliminally, as if it were trying to dominate Goku, who was in a highly worn-out mental state. This continued until he achieved the white-haired form, where he returned to normal. This brings us to the second key point, which will blow your mind: Goku, who has now accepted his Saiyan side through his father Bardock. I'll explain more about how this happened later in the video. They could have just shown Bardock in his base form, but instead, they showed his OOZARU form. This is crucial because Goku is proud of his father and, in a way, accepts himself for who he is. This opens the door for his Saiyan genes to unite even more with his current powers. He gives way to the natural instinct, which he now accesses in his natural form, his accepted form. The next step in this evolution is the OOZARU instinct. What's the only way to defeat the current Frieza, with his newest and most threatening black form, who defeated Goku and Vegeta with just one blow. He surely opened another key point for this to happen. He, who destroyed the Saiyan race, the planet itself, feared the legendary Super Saiyan. This has always left us amazed because Broly is considered the legendary Saiyan with his Berserker transformation. So yes, you could say it's directly derived from Oozaru. This draws Goku further into that side. Not the Berserker side, but something more monstrous. Although his calmness and state of mind make this monstrous side more serene, something similar to Super Saiyan 3, which has its monstrous form but is calm at the same time. This will happen sooner than you might think. Oozaru instinct taking form. The roar will echo everywhere, kind of like in those wolf series where the alpha of the pack lets out its roar and the others gain more power. And the opportune moment is now, with Frieza being the strongest. They need something to surpass him, since in the battle between Goku and Gohan, presented to us in the manga, Gohan breaks Goku's instinct in his perfect form, in quotes, and demonstrates the weakness of it. So we'll have the return of Dragon Ball possibly addressing this topic, with Goku dreaming about his past, his form, maybe remembering how even his grandfather Gohan died, and other times he transformed into Oozaru, suppressing that rage and saying that now he's going to access that power for good, using it as a boost like Kaioken, but in a more apparent form that expresses that Oozaru side within the Saiyans. So, what's your opinion on this? Regarding Dragon Ball, a lot is possible nowadays. Let's talk a bit about Oozaru, its appearances and references, and more about Bardock showing both his Saiyan and kind sides, which made Goku accept the pride of his race. Bardock is the man. About Oozaru, it was something heavily discussed in the past, but today this form has been somewhat sidelined. Well, at least there was a reference to it in the Dragon Ball Super manga, through Bardock on planet Cereal, which was being conquered by the Saiyans. That's where he discovered the Heater Gang. The Heater Gang, also known as the Heater Army, is a group of characters from the Dragon Ball Super universe. They are a family of 4 siblings: Elec, Maki, Oil, and Gas. The Heaters are known for being intermediaries and information dealers for Frieza's army, helping buy and sell planets conquered by Frieza. Despite being business allies of Frieza, the relationship is not equal, as Frieza is much more powerful, and Bardock faced both. For those who don't know what Oozaru is, or have only started with Dragon Ball Super, Oozaru is a transformation of the Saiyans in the Dragon Ball universe. When a Saiyan with a tail looks at the full moon, they transform into a giant ape known as Oozaru. This transformation enormously increases the Saiyans' strength and power, but can also make them more wild and harder to control. The Oozaru's body becomes covered in dark brown fur, and their eyes turn completely red. This transformation is an important characteristic of the Saiyans, especially in the early Dragon Ball sagas. Explained about them and their impact on the series, the Saiyans used this form a lot for various planetary conquests. According to Vegeta, only high-class Saiyans like him are able to control the Oozaru transformation. This is the result of special training that allows these warriors to maintain consciousness and control during the transformation. Vegeta demonstrated this ability during his fight against Goku in the Saiyan saga of Dragon Ball Z. After that, it was kind of left aside due to the power scaling of the series increasing, and it was through the Super Saiyan form that this became possible. Akira Toriyama, the creator of Dragon Ball, decided to sideline the Oozaru transformation for practical and narrative reasons. One of the main reasons was the complexity of drawing the Saiyan tails and the transformation itself, which required a lot of extra work. Additionally, the introduction of the Super Saiyan transformation offered a simpler and more visually impactful way to increase the character's power without the need to draw complicated details like the tail and the giant ape form. Narratively, the Super Saiyan transformation also became more popular and iconic, making the Oozaru form less relevant over time. The change allowed the story to evolve and introduce new transformations and powers that kept the series interesting for fans. Do you think the Oozaru transformation should have been explored more in the series, like how it was handled in Dragon Ball GT? Comment your opinion. That said, in Dragon Ball GT, a transformation derived from the Oozaru form was added, and it remains one of the most beautiful to this day: Super Saiyan 4. For Goku to transform into Super Saiyan 4 in Dragon Ball GT, He goes through a specific process where he needs to regain his Saiyan tail, which he accomplishes with the help of Old Kai, Sagoro, and Shisuguro. By looking at the Earth replacing the full moon, Goku transforms into a golden Oozaru, a more powerful version of the traditional Oozaru. Initially, Goku lost control, but with Pan's help, he regains his consciousness and manages to control the golden Oozaru form. Finally, Goku completes the transformation into Super Saiyan 4, returning to his human form but with an adult body and immense power. This transformation occurred for the first time in episode 35 of Dragon Ball GT, during the fight against Baby. I really hope Dragon Ball Super brings something as good as Dragon Ball GT in this respect. And about Oozaru, the anime can't just abandon things just because they're easier to do, but even if it's easy to animate or draw, at least bring some references to it. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video, and that's all for today. Comment what you think, and see you next time.